what a beautiful day for football in sunny Southern California. Precisely, it's Oxnard, California, the corner of Ventura and Vineyard in the shadows of the River Ridge Country Club. This is Dallas Cowboys Training Camp 2024, and this is the blue-white practice. We do this annually. Bill Jones, along with Mickey Spagnola, Nate Newton, and the great Kyle Yeomans, who knows all about, this is Hall of Fame weekend, and the triplets are in the Hall of Fame, and Kyle Yeomans has some triplets back in Dallas that are in his Hall of Fame.
And I'm sure they're watching right now.
That's right.
They don't get a chance to come out to Oxnard. They're already biting at my ankles, trying to make sure that they get the trip out there in the future. No, everybody's great, and I'm happy to be here.
And it is a wonderful weekend here in Oxnard, and this is day number 12 of Cowboys camp. You've been following at home, of course. CeeDee Lamb hasn't been here, and we've had that discussion, but we're talking about the players on the field today. And Mickey Spagnola, you've been here from day one. How about to start things off? What's your impression so far?
I think it's been a pretty solid training camp. You would like to get through to this point without an injury, but they did lose Sam Williams to a torn ACL, and it was one of those injuries that if you talk to anybody, you guys, they're all sick to their stomach that this happened in a basically special teams walkthrough drill. They weren't in pads yet. And they were really counting on him to step up after losing Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler Jr. It was his job on that right side because, as we've seen, guys, they're moving Micah Parsons all over the place. As a matter of fact, Mike Zimmer, the new defensive coordinator, said that Micah could probably play any defensive position on the field.
And in the meantime, they have signed Shaka Toney, who wears number 72 out here, and number 92, Quadin Muhammad, who were out there in free agency, veteran guys that are coming in, getting some reps now.
And they're getting reps, but as Stephen Jones pointed out when they brought 4 guys in for workouts, he said, make no mistake, none of these guys are Sam Williams. None of them are here to replace Sam Williams. They're here to be able to give us some depth. And he pointed out also that Marshawn Nealon now is the guy. And he said that when they were in the draft, they were looking at different guys. And he said, we decided on Nealon, and he goes, thank God we did.
You give him number 94, you got big hopes for a defensive end wearing number 94. But I know Nate is looking at number 60 and number 56 and some guys on that offensive line. Of course, 60's Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe, the third-round draft pick, number 56.
Tyler Guyton, he's on pace to battle Eagle Dog. It's going to be a uphill deal, though. I just want to let you know what's been reported. You've listened to everybody else, now listen to someone who knows. This kid has been a little bit inconsistent. He's looked good against Michael Parsons, but he's also looked bad against Darrell Johnson. So what he needs to do at this point is start stacking up good days. Start with the first practice, second practice, build on each rep, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to stop leaning. He needs to stop, as you start to punch with the 40-inch arms, you need to start with his technique, and that is what Coach Mike Solari is working on. Let him build up each rep, each day, each time, getting better and better, stacking up better and better days. The center position battle with Brock Hoffman and B.B. Cooper.
Cooper Beebe, yep.
Cooper Beebe, excuse me. That is not a good battle right now. The young guy's not been able to be consistent with his snaps. He's still a physical player, but he has to learn to play center. He played mostly right and left guard in college, and it is different dealing with grown men trying to snap that ball between your legs with any type of accuracy. He's getting better, but it's going to be an uphill.
Well, he got practice this summer with his shotgun snapping to his mom in his backyard in Kansas City.
I don't know if she ready, but
she looked like a quarterback, though. I'm telling you, she looked like a quarterback. Now, Kyle's been watching every practice as well. What's your take through the first 11 days?
Well, I really want to say the defensive backs have been the number one thing, and I mean Mike Zimmer has been coaching these guys up. Can't get away from the offense all the way through.
But I do know Darrell Johnson. I do know him.
But I think Mike Zimmer specifically, he's done a great job of coaching up those defensive backs. Al Harris in the back being the passing game coordinator for that defense. You can see growth from not only the guys that are starters, Trayvon Diggs, of course, not available, but you have DeRon Bland playing well, you have Jordan Lewis playing well, but it's the guys underneath that depth that I had a question mark coming into the week with, and I really like what they've done. I mean, Kalen Carson, rookie draft pick as well, has really showed out, and he's done some good things. Josh DeBerry's had a great camp so far, too. So
Texas A&M.
Texas A&M grad. So I like the defensive backs, but really the linebackers, too. You haven't gotten to see a ton of that physicality, but what you can see and what you can watch for is being in the right place at the right time and being able to plug a hole and then really attack leverage-wise whenever you thud up, as they call it in practice. They've been able to do that and do it consistently, which is a huge plus for this defense.
And, Bill, one of the things we were looking at is somebody's got to step up and be that fourth or fifth cornerback. You know, at this point, it's Nashawn Wright, and he's been playing in place of Trayvon. But there's another young guy that's really stepped up, and you're pretty familiar with it too, is Josh Butler.
Yeah, Josh Butler, number 31. He's an interesting story. We'll get into his story as we go along, and over the course of the next couple of hours, you're going to watch all of practice here, and we'll get into the individual drills, the team drills later as well. He's a great story, and you got to keep an eye on, as are some of the other ones. But as I came out to training camp, one guy that I was wanting to watch was the guy who wears a red shirt out here, and that would be Trey Lance. And, of course, the quarterbacks with Dak and Cooper Rush. Dak, he says he's in the best shape of his life, and it looks like he is too.
He's played awfully well these last few practices this week. I mean, he was humming, throwing balls into tight situations and finding guys. And I just been real impressed with what he's done. I don't know how much we'll see of him. They want to see Trey Lance in these things. They need to see
in the preseason games.
And the preseason games. They need to see him take snaps and even things like this. And when we get to the scrimmage on Thursday with the Rams, you're going to see a lot of Trey Lance.
Well, Dak has really separated himself. We call it pressure drill. At the end of practice, have a pressure drill. We know it as blitz drill. Linebackers, safeties, and corners are up moving back and forth and blitzing, and that's where he's been sharp at. Him and Cooks and all the Jalen guys, they've been on top of this and just making the proper reads. And it's been a lot of interceptions being thrown, and believe me, the majority of them is not that.
No, and I think I agree with Nate here, because whenever I came into camp, I was also keeping a close eye on Trey Lance, as was everybody. You didn't know what you had there. But I think he's had some good things. He's had some bad things. He's had an up and down camp, and that's normally how camp will go. But I want to see more consistency, because guys like Dak have separated themselves with consistency. Cooper Rush, though he may not be the most talented quarterback on the roster, he's separated himself because he's consistent. I want to see more of that from Trey Lance. He's good in the RPO. He's good when he's able to move out of the pocket. He's good on the bootlegs, and he's able to throw within 10 to 15 yards, that moderate range downfield. I don't know if he's that deep quarterback, that deep throw quarterback that you would want if something were to happen to your starter.
Okay, in the last couple of minutes of this opening segment, I want each of you to give me one guy that has kind of jumped off the screen at you as you watch here. Kyle, you want to go first on it?
Ooh, that one's tough. Jumping off the screen.
Someone we look forward to when you're watching this practice today. Keep an eye on this guy.
I hope he's out there again, because he was limited yesterday. DeMarvion Overshone has been
number
fantastic. Number 13 on the defensive side. They've moved him around a little bit as well in terms of the defense. He's mostly coming off the second level, plays downhill, plays with a ferocity. I really like what Demo has done, especially coming off of the injury. You're looking for explosion. You're looking for cut. He has both of those things.
Not a big name guy, but 51 Darrell Johnson. He has all the talent. He has all the skill sets. And what Greg Ellis says he needs to do is become a student of the game. He needs to be able to transfer what he sees in the classroom out to the field. He's been having a little bit of, glitches in the mind when it comes time to line up and take care of his responsibilities.
Which isn't unusual for a young player coming in.
This is his first year. I mean, he practiced prayer last
second
year
here, yeah.
But if this guy can get it together, Greg Ellis said he can make this team.
So one of the guys that is you need to look for where he's playing, since Mike Zimmer joined us there for a few seconds. He's moving Micah Parsons all over the defense, and that was one thing coming into training camp. I wanted to see how they were going to treat Parsons. Don't just let him be a defensive end where he can be neutralized. He's playing a lot of linebacker. They're moving him around, dropping into the coverage. He's shooting gaps. And I want to see if that continues here in this practice, because that's what they need to do. They do not need him to get neutralized just being a pass rusher. He's got to play the run. This team needs to improve. Go back and look at the 6 games they lost last year. They got run right over. So I want to see Micah Parsons continuing to move all over the defense.
All right, and we'll be talking about that and much more over the course of the next couple of hours. And Mickey, you're going to be replaced here. I'm sorry, you did great in this first segment, but this was decided beforehand that Brian Broaddus is going to be sitting here, and so this is your last chance for a mix shot here. Give us something that to go out on.
Keep an eye on T. Billy.
Billy, there you go. Another number 13. 13 is the lucky number to Marvion Overshone. And, you said it. Everybody you talk to on the offense, they're talking about T. Billy Johnson. Tyron Billy Johnson.
Quarterback, too. He's really high on T. Billy. Been around the league on practice squads, but he's having a real good training camp. Tyron Billy Johnson.
All right, the team is on the field. And by the way, training camp for you Cowboys Nation, 2024 Dallas Cowboys training camp, presented by American Airlines, is here. Head to sunny Oxnard, California now through August 21st to watch the team practice. Admission is free. For more information, visit DallasCowboys.com/training camp. Our thanks to Mickey Spagnola, and we'll be back to Oxnard in just a moment. 2024 Dallas Cowboys Star Magazine Training Camp Preview is now available. This year's edition features scouting reports, position analysis, a pull-out schedule poster, and articles from your favorite Cowboys writers. Get your training camp preview today at your local pro shop or DallasCowboys.com/star. As the blue-white practice, and now we're going to give you an opportunity to see the field. We've had some technical issues we've worked through here. We're powering through, though. That's what you do as a football team. Bill Jones, Brian Broaddus, Nate Newton, and Kyle Yeomans. And we saw a special teams portion of practice. We are now, about 54 minutes into practice. And just give us an overview of what you're thinking as we are reaching the halfway point of this practice. Kyle, let's start with you.
Yeah, I think the number one thing is there was a lot of kickoff work. We hadn't necessarily seen that initially, of having those actual new kickoff rules playing out. And it was a lot of fundamental work with the special teams unit. Got a lot of reps. I mean, we got to see both Kevontae Turpin, then you had Deuce Vaughn, then you also had Tyron Billy Johnson returning some kicks in that scenario. So with that kickoff rule being implemented, it's good to get the fundamentals down, and they worked a lot on that in the special teams portion. And then we only really saw a little bit of position drills, those O&D fundamentals where you're broken up into the different groups, and now we're going on 7-on-7 stuff in the red zone. Mike McCarthy said he was going to work a lot of red zone throughout this practice.
You got a lot of guys out here competing hard. You got the wide receivers going. You got John Stevenson, Harden right there, just missed one right with a nice coverage. So Brian, this is moving.
Yeah, when you talk about with a guy like Nashawn Wright, perfect length for what Mike Zimmer likes to play with. Right there, some sticky coverage, carrying the route inside and able to knock the ball down.
All right, so as we watch Dak here with the throw at the goal line. And how about T. Billy Johnson? He has been a guy that a lot of people have talked about, has really stood out in this camp.
From day one, man, he's jumped around like we talked earlier, 3 or 4 teams, but he's done a super job of knowing his routes, and his hands are getting better and better every day.
And I think one of the things about Tyron Billy Johnson is how do you find a way on the roster? Because you're only going to take 5 or 6 receivers, and Kevontae Turpin being your return man is probably going to take one of those 6 spots. So it's really 5 spots overall that Tyron Billy Johnson's trying to fit into. And if he continues to put day after day, stack good days together, they're going to find a way to put him on this roster.
Yeah, that's the trick right here. How many good days can you stack in a row? You're going to get tired. You're going to get frustrated, but you can't have a bad day if you're a wide receiver trying to make this team.
We got Cooper Rush, number 10, with the throw to the back of the end zone, trying to keep his feet
inbounds. How do you look at the quarterback situation? As Mike McCarthy talks about, he thinks they got the strongest quarterback room probably in the league with Dak, Cooper Rush, the veteran, and then Trey Lance.
They do. Of course, it's a big separation with Dak. It's Dak and then everybody else. What they're trying to look from Trey Lance in here is get some more consistency. He's had up and down days.
No, it's not Cavante.
But they're looking for more consistency with Trey Lance.
Yeah, I think the thing you talk about the quarterback room, you've got Cooper Rush, who's got wins in the NFL. I mean, he's come in and, it's not like you throw a guy in and all of a sudden you're hoping for the best. He's gone and won games for you. So, yeah, it's nice to have that kind of that safety net. They thought enough of Trey Lance to make a trade for him. He's a guy that had the top of the second round. They make a trade. They have a year in the system, and now we're really getting to see him for the first time here at these training camp practices.
There a moment ago is Deontay Burnett, who made the play in the corner of the end zone, and a drop ball after Keemon Hall goes down in defense. North Texas Mean Green there, Kyle Yeomans.
Go Mean Green, baby. Represented out here. Now, going back to what Brian said, just to add on to that, it's crazy to think about Trey Lance. He's still young. He's 24 years old. You've got Cooper Rush, who's more experienced, but at least with the name recognition around the NFL, you tend to recognize the name Trey Lance quicker than you would a Cooper Rush. But it's actually been Rush that's had more NFL experience, more NFL snaps. He's 5-1, Brian. You talked about wins. 5-1 as a starter whenever Dak Prescott is unavailable. No, he's not going to be a starter in the league, but he's the perfect backup scenario. And the reason why is consistency. Trey Lance hasn't had that consistency yet. 2-2 as a starter in the NFL. He had the up and downs with San Francisco, and I think a lot of those up and downs have continued here with Dallas and through this training camp as well. He's got to find a level-headed consistency going into that preseason, and that's where he's going to show out and win that job.
It's about the mental game with a kid like that. I mean, he was kind of tossed away from the 49ers. They didn't want him, and when the Cowboys wanted him, so now they got to help him get mentally strong, man, with his throws, with the repetitions. And I think they're going to play him a lot in the preseason. They have to get his confidence up and going.
Yeah, Bill, a nice rep there with Kalen Carson, and he's been going against Tolbert. I mean, here's a rookie going against probably the best receiver in Cowboys camp. He's stepped up every single time. He's not avoiding the opportunity to try and get better. I like what I've seen from him so far today in this practice.
And Kalen Carson, of course, the fifth-round cornerback out of Wake Forest.
Brian, when you were watching tape, I mean, the number one thing that turned out to me from his Wake Forest tape was playmaker. He was always around the football. He found a way to get a hand on it, to make it a reception, even if it was a reception, to make it tough on those receivers. And he mostly played on the boundary at Wake Forest, and that's kind of what he's shown through camp. Finds a way to the football. He's got a nose for it.
He sure does. He's a tough kid, too. When you watch him and the way he plays coverage, he's not giving you much room out there. And so, not maybe even a lot of interceptions, but a lot of getting his hand in where he needs to be. Technique's really, really good.
And that's one thing they've missed on the boundary with the cornerback position is physicality and being able to stop the run, too. When they've got those outside runs, when opposing team goes outside the tackles, having guys step up and bring a hit, that's something that he can bring to the table.
They're moving to period 6 now, 7-on-7 red zone. There's a lot of work that all NFL teams do, but the Cowboys in the red zone, we've seen it in this camp, and that's what they're about to here, 7-on-7 red zone.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy talked about it today that he, one year when he was in Green Bay, they were like 2-5 or 2-6 in 2-minute games, and he's always going to work on something. He plays the statistics, and he's going to work on those things. Say, never again are we not going to be a good 2-minute team or a red zone team.
And that was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, a lot of work.
They started doing more than in 2009. And, by the way, they won the Super Bowl the next year.
Lose a bunch of games, and all of a sudden you kind of figure things out that you don't want to do this anymore.
Waiting on them to get started.
These are good periods because, again, you've got – and I'll tell you what, I kind of like what I've seen from the secondary.
Yeah.
I really like this linebacker crew, by the way. There's an LSU Tiger out there with Damone Clark, and I think he's benefited from the young guys like Luafau and others, Kendricks, those guys. I mean, big help to a guy like that.
And a big help, Eric Kendricks, the veteran coming in here who hasn't been practicing the last couple of days, nursing a back.
That was a position, though, that going into the end of last season, you felt like was thin. You didn't have any depth. You didn't have any rotation. Now you look out there, and there's 4 or 5 linebackers that you're confident in. And that's a huge difference and a huge plus for guys like Damone Clark, who was stretched thin in his own role last year. Now he can kind of settle back in to doing what he does best.
Jordan Love pointed it out in a podcast with Micah Parsons about the playoff game. We saw number 14 lining up at linebacker. We're going to run the ball. Number 14, Marquise Bell out of FAMU, is now playing safety.
Yeah, you got Eric Kendricks, and we brought back Damian Wilson. We got some veteran guys that can teach these young guys and help them learn how to fill gaps, because that's one thing we was lacking last year, the ability to stunt guards and centers in the hole and to be able to take on our fullback. So this year here, we'll be looking at a different scenario.
I'll tell you what, that John Stevens, the tight end, number 81, Dak was looking for him. He was trying to run the seam route. Good coverage on the back end. Dak had to move to his left and just kind of throw it away. But good coverage, good route from John Stevens. Good-looking player at tight end.
Got the ones in here. Dak throwing for Jake Ferguson.
Wanye Thomas.
Yep, Wanye Thomas stuck with him all the way through. And Ferguson was put in motion, so it was man-to-man on the opposite side, and he stayed with him all the way through. I will say, on that last rep, you think Tyron Billy Johnson's having a great camp, and we've heard about it, we've talked about it. Out of the wide receivers, it was Jalen Tolbert, Cavante Turpin, and Tyron Billy Johnson running with Dak Prescott, Jake Ferguson, and the ones on offense. He's continuing to compound those days, and he's getting rewarded for it as well. No Brandon Cooks, by the way, out here. If you're thinking about where's Brandon Cooks, he hasn't been practicing today yet. Not sure if he's maybe a veteran day off or moving forward with it.
A lot of times early in practice, they have been keeping him out of these situational drills and letting him do more of the teamwork.
There you go.
Hey, was that a screen? I always say this, man. Throw a parade in downtown Dallas if we get a screen package for this team. Didn't have the lineman there, but the action was a screen look right there. So nice job of getting the ball to the outside and getting the back up the field.
Who's planning the parade? Would that be you? Would you?
I'll tell you what. I will throw a parade if they throw screens.
I like it.
Yeah, I like a good red zone screen. I grew up with Andy Reid, and Andy will red zone screen you to death there in Kansas City. Yeah.
Cooper Rush at quarterback. Royce Freeman, big running back, signed in free agency. He was with the Rams last year.
Well, he's a thick guy, too. When you talk
he's
about
a special teams guy, too. I didn't realize that about him.
Well, you got to be that kind of guy. You got to be able to do a lot of other things if they're going to dress you.
Keep your eye on number 55, Willie Harvey, man. He's just come out of the USFL. This guy hasn't missed a beat. He's a full-time, full-speed type guy. And talking to Will McClay, he loves him.
He was the leading tackler in the UFL last season with the St. Louis Battlehawks, and he did a really good job early in camp in coverage. He was able to back out and pull that parachute, get into the secondary, and provide some different routes for quarterbacks to throw into.
Had a pick the other day.
I'll tell you what, Mike Zimmer's right here in front of us, and Mike and I go way back to the early 2000s. What Mike's trying to do here is you look at some of the disguise. You see some guys, if you watch the secondary move, they will adjust. So they will show you one look, and then also they'll rotate to another look. A lot different than what we saw with Dan Quinn, though. A lot more movement, a lot more disguising with Mike Zimmer's crew.
With Dan Quinn, it was mostly pre-snap movement, whereas Zimmer, it's a lot of post-snap movement, correct?
Right, absolutely right. But Mike is really big on giving you a look and then showing you something else completely different and playing that looks. He's got some guys home on some blitzes that have confused the offensive lineman. All of a sudden, Micah Parsons is in a blitz position, but then fires back, and then all of a sudden linebacker going through the hole, and now they've missed the block, and it's a sack. So Zim's really big on that. Him and Al Harris have done a really nice job with the secondary.
There's Overshawn.
One-handed
Overshawn
Rico.
at the linebacker position. He took the number one back coming out of the backfield, and, he got it.
What a nice throw by Dak.
Beautiful throw.
Good spot.
Should point out, as you're watching from home, you're not able to see that the one-handed grab in the corner of the end zone. We're fighting through some technical difficulties right now. We're having to just give you a wide shot of practice. We apologize for that. But on that play right there, fade corner of the end zone, Rico with a beautiful one-handed catch.
They were practicing that in O&D fundamentals, the portion of practice that we missed due to some of those difficulties. They were running guys out of the backfield. They were showing that wheel route, and that time it was Dowdle that was able to take advantage.
On the wheel, it was he rode it all the way to the end zone.
Yes, he did.
Well, I'll tell you what, on cue right there, when you look at that, Nate mentioned Willie Harvey, and he was coming in a hurry. Dak tries to get to the outside. I think Willie Harvey pulled back. Don't hit the quarterback in those red shirts. Dak got rid of the ball, but it would have been a headache for him with Willie Harvey probably in his chest.
And
all right,
you
here's Trey Lance.
Sorry, real quick. You talked about the disguising with Mike Zimmer. and how he's going to show a lot of post-snap reads. There's Harvey
speaking
again,
of Willie
almost
Harvey.
had one. Almost had one. You know what's that? It's good for the defenders because it gives a leg up for those guys
Right.
because they're in a different look post-snap. It's also going to be good for Dak Prescott. That's something that he's struggled with reading. I know Trey Lance threw that one.
Yeah.
But that's going to be good for these quarterbacks to see in practice every day.
But we've talked about this. Trey Lance down in the red zone.
Yeah.
He's had thrown some interceptions where he hasn't seen the linebacker. He didn't see the safety Bell the other day. There again, right
once
there,
again.
trying to be a little bit, throwing a little bit of a tight window there. This is something with Trey Lance. You're like, you see the talent, you see the arm talent.
Yep.
Decision making. He's been a couple of times on the goal line. They've ran out of time, and then they had an interception. So,
And let's point this out about Trey Lance.
yeah,
I mean, it's his
not a lot
fourth-
of football.
Yeah, it's his 4th year in the league, but as Kyle mentioned, 2 starts in his career,
Yeah.
and he only played 1 season in North Dakota State.
Right.
He's the same age. He just turned 24 in May. He's the same age as a couple of those first-round quarterbacks this year. There was a nice play in the back of the end zone to David Durden.
Yeah, if you're absolutely right. I was talking to some of my scouting buddies in San Francisco. Trey just couldn't stay healthy there.
Yeah.
That was something big. Every time they felt like they were going forward with him, then something would happen. They love the kid. He's a hard worker. The coaches talk about him all the time. But, man, you're starting to see down here in that tight red zone, you can stand behind him and see what he's seeing. And is he missing something? You know what? Trying to fit it right in there to Ferguson, though.
And Trey Lance is about reps, and it's about good reps, solid reps. This kid has to play a lot during the preseason. They have to give him the reins and let him see what he can do.
Well, you also got to think he hasn't thrown against a live defense other than
Yes.
maybe practice squad work
Right.
in over 2 years, really,
Yeah.
since he was last with San Francisco as a starter. So it's going to take some time to adjust, and that adjustment period is just going to happen quicker for him, or it needs to happen quicker for him.
You got Brandon Cooks playing inside here in the slot, so he's now part of the drill.
You got to the right
There's
side
Deron
looking
Bland.
for Turpin over there. And there is Deron Bland. Well,
This dude has had
Yeah,
a nice
Deron
camp
Bland.
with Deron Bland.
You know
He's
what?
had a super camp.
I learned something about Deron Bland. He had never played nickel corner or slot corner before in his life before he got to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
and then Jordan Lewis goes down and he gets thrown in.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. You're lying to me right now. He goes, no, I'm telling you, I've never played slot corner before, but that's how he got his start here with the Dallas Cowboys. What a talented player.
And this is the first time going into camp, once Trayvon Diggs gets back into the fold, that they'll both be on the boundary in practice reps because he's been in the nickel all the way through, either from injuries for Jordan Lewis or injuries without Trayvon Diggs being on the field. So once Diggs is back and healthy, you're going to feel really good about the starting 3 corners, and that's really a credit to what Bland has done.
Look at that, Jordan Lewis. Speaking of Jordan Lewis, I mean, he's had a super camp, and he was all over Cavante then. I mean, just blanket coverage.
I'll tell you what here. I like what I saw from Donovan Wilson, a downhill player, a thumper. Need to see him cover better. They tried to pick him down here. They fought through it, though. He's just got so much toughness. He didn't let the pick happen, and they were able to play it on the outside, forced the ball to go the other way, but they were trying to run a little pick route down here, and he played it very well.
And he was face-to-face with Peyton Hendershot after that. I don't know what words were said there.
Oh, I
but
tell
it
you
was-
what, Dono will say a few words to you. He will say a few words to you along the way.
He's an Aggie. He's not afraid to speak his mind, right?
not afraid to speak his mind at all.
Yeah.
And by the way, that safety position is a real position of strength for
It
this
is.
team.
No,
You know,
the secondary itself, I think, if you walk, that was a good competitive period on
Yeah, it
both
was.
sides right there.
And I
Yeah.
love how you two guys, how you and Kyle spoke highly of all these guys. Can they bring the fat guys down here where I can get involved?
Well, you're about to get involved here, Nate. Your fat guys are coming
I'm
down.
like, wow.
Well,
man.
that's the thing is Broadus is a former lineman. You're a former lineman.
yeah.
I didn't play much football, but hey, I love watching the
Yeah.
linemen too. This is great. 7-on-7. That's all the flashy. That's all
Yeah.
the fun. But let's get the big guys down here and have
Yeah.
some physicality. That's
Where
what
we going,
practice
Bill?
like this is all about.
It's like 2-minute period now, Bill, I
Yeah.
think. Is that what I think I'm listening to Bones Fossil,
Yeah.
who's – I'll tell you
You know,
what,
they do make some adjustments off the script
Yes,
sometimes.
yes.
So
saying they go off script.
off script.
There
yeah.
we go.
McCarthy talked about that today. He said these practices where there's both install periods and padded practices are some of the toughest practices you'll see all training camp long. But he also said today's going to be a challenge to some of these young guys. It's a lot of 2 minutes, a lot of red zone, a lot of move the ball drills. Those competitive periods, just like we saw
Right.
here with 7-on-7, is going to continue all practice long. I also have a feeling a Mojo Moment's kind of around the corner.
Oh,
here.
okay.
So
Yes.
get ready.
All right.
I think
hear
we're
the
gonna
music.
Hear that
There you
music.
go. Right. Oh, deep shot
Deep.
right
Why
off
not?
the jump.
Brandon
Oh.
Cooks.
There you go.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks over Nation right there. Deep 9 route. Nice.
If we're going to name this "Move the Ball,"
Right.
I mean that's how you move the ball. Is you
Yeah.
find Brandon Cooks.
The Archer, Brandon Cooks.
How about that? What a route. What a throw.
The pilot, Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, he's a pilot too,
Yeah.
but his nickname the Archer, and he has two sons, Sir Maverick Archer, and
His son's already been knighted.
the other one, Sir, is it David? The number 7.
That's awesome.
Which is in the Bible, that's completeness.
How cool.
Number 7.
They got Austin Richards starting at that left tackle, I think, y'all. Is that Austin? Yeah, 76 Austin Richards at that left tackle.
Good eye
Starting
there,
out.
Nate.
Yes.
Good eye, offensive lineman.
Yes.
Tell you what, a couple of really nice reps from Osa Odigizua right there going against Tyler Smith.
His
That's-
hands have been great.
Man, that is no bargain having to deal with these two guards.
Yes.
Parsons might have been offsides on that one. Yeah, flags up.
I'm telling you, Steele, leg is back. I mean, he's been moving well. I mean, he didn't look that way against Parsons because I think he jumped the snap. But
Yeah.
number 78 Steele is having a great camp.
Yeah, he has.
His quickness, I mean, his foot quickness is nice.
We talked about consistency from the quarterbacks. That's what you want to see
Yeah.
from Terrence Steele as well.
Yeah.
Steele's continued to build on a good camp, too. And you hear about the talk with Tyler Guyton, Chuma Edoga.
Yes.
That left tackle spot's under a microscope. Nobody's really talking about Terrence Steele, but he deserves some of the credit
Yes.
throughout these first couple padded practices.
And Tyler Guyton missed practice yesterday
Illness.
with an illness.
Yeah, had an
And
illness. So hopefully he's feeling a little bit better today,
I think it's flu-like symptoms.
as they say.
Yes.
3rd down and 1, I believe, is the scenario here after the flag.
Oh, really? Hey, I'll tell you what. That was a nice play on the left end, though. Marshawn Nealon, though, playing good feel right there. Sometimes you go up the field and don't feel
Yeah.
the ball going inside.
Right.
Beats the tight end's block and squeezes it. Great job at the left end there.
Out of all of the draft picks, these and talking to the scouts, that is the guy that's making the most advancement.
I'll tell you what, yeah.
Marshawn
Yes,
Nealon.
he's making
Yeah.
the most advancements. He's having a better day-by-day build-up.
When you watched him at Western Michigan, and we talked about him a bunch on the draft show, was how much bend
Yeah.
and how flat could he play to get to the quarterback. There's something that's happened to him. He is a much quicker player off the ball, and he's become a bendy guy to get
Yes.
that corner.
And you'll see that from time to time, these late bloomers, but it was the Senior Bowl that really first stuck out to me on film when he was down in Mobile, Alabama. He was going up against these Power 5, Power 6 guys and just winning his one-on-one battles.
Jalen Cropper in the back
That was a
corner of
nice
the end
pass
zone.
by Dak, but he was under.
Yeah, he caught a blitz.
Fury. Yeah, 14.
They did not pick up Bell on
At
that
all.
blitz.
It
So
was a free run.
Bell did a nice job of disguising that.
Yes.
So you're right, free run right there between that B gap off the left side, and I think Bell backed up a little bit. That
backed
could have
up a
been
whole
close.
lot.
That
He
could have
backed
been
up a
close.
whole
Well,
lot.
the offense, though, is celebrating as
Yeah.
if that was a touchdown pass.
Well,
to
they
Edward
gave it to
in the
him,
end
so
zone.
here we are.
False
Well, and
sense of
Cropper made a
security.
great play on
Oh
the
yeah,
ball. He made
Lewis
a great
tried.
play.
Lewis tried to
Yeah.
carry.
Lewis
Yeah.
was good coverage-wise. And that's Jalen Cropper has been a name we've mentioned in Oxnard before, but he's been overshadowed by Tyron Billy Johnson as kind of that under-the-radar receiver that's taken a step forward. That's a good rep for Jalen Cropper to win against a starter in Lewis.
How about the competitiveness between the offense and the defense
I love
throughout
it.
camp?
It's
Love it.
been that way whole camp, Bill. From no pass to the pass. These guys, they know where they're going. They know how to line up, and they're playing with great speed.
I tell you what, I think that Mike McCarthy has done a really nice job of trying to build a little toughness in his football team. The weather here is conducive to doing that. To go, Nate. Remember those days
Yes.
in Austin and Wichita Falls? You're
Don't
trying
bring
to
it back. Don't bring
yeah,
it
you're
back.
trying
Just
to
go ahead.
survive
Go
a
for it.
practice. You're just trying to survive.
Yeah, go
you're trying to
for it.
survive. Here, you actually can practice
Yes,
and,
you
not-
can.
and get good work in.
I'm telling you, and the second team's in now with Cooper Rush. The snap was a little bit low, and that threw off the whole timing.
That was Cooper Beebe.
Yes.
Adds the snapper there. So
Yes,
he's
yes.
had some problems of it being a little tall, and then that time a little
I saw
low.
the video of him
With the mom?
snapping to mom.
Yeah.
I didn't see any low snaps in.
I'll tell you,
different when there's
It's a little bit different when there's a big-time defensive tackle going
Yes,
down
sir.
on you, too.
Mom's got the kick step promotion, and she's got the here we go part down, too.
That's right.
This is a Cooper-to-Cooper connection. You would think that would be a little bit cleaner along the way. Beebe to Rush.
Oh, there you can see. There we
Good
go. There's
snap.
that double A gap.
Oh,
there we
yes.
go.
Stretching out.
Good protection there, offensive line.
That's Durden right there.
David Durden.
David
coming
Durden.
off an ACL.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal grab for Durden. Horizontal to the ground like that. That is not an easy
Not
catch.
horizontal.
Well, they showed him that double A gap blitz, and Luafau was the one coming. They picked it up well to get the ball out.
And that's a Mike Zimmer trademark.
That is it. He will show you, but he'll show you double A and then run a guy out. And so, yeah, it's a staple of his scheme.
So don't be surprised you see Parsons and Kendrick in the double A gap, and Parsons might drop. T. Billy Johnson.
Yeah, good route on the outside. Josh Butler got turned around a little bit right there. Pace of the practice has been really good. A lot of plays being run right now.
And I liked the ball from Rush there. He had already released that, expecting Tyron Billy Johnson to create some separation. You hear about throwing guys open.
Right.
Billy Johnson created that separation, and Rush had the trust to get it out there.
And this is what I've been just harping on the whole training camp. It's just guys knowing what to do. You don't see a lot of offside. When you normally get in pads and you get deep into the practice routine, guys start getting a little lackadaisical. Mike McCarthy's keeping these guys in tight and going right.
Nate, do you worry about your technique as this drive's going along? I mean, you get a little – you like get
That's
a little
what the
tired.
fundamental
yeah,
period
exactly.
for. That's what individuals is for. You don't worry about it now. Now you just practice.
Right.
Now you just do your job, because when Parsons coming, you're not worried about how you're going to block him. You just block him.
You just try and survive the rep,
That's
right?
right. Yes, sir.
That's the second time on this drive that Hunter Lipke has had a reception out of the backfield.
And after his press conference today on the walk-off, Mike McCarthy was talking about Hunter Lipke and how impressive he's been. He didn't mention – I don't think he mentioned Lipke in the actual press conference. Afterwards, he said, I should have mentioned him when I was asked about it.
Yeah, last year Hunter Lipke was a half-man blocker. When I talk about half-man,
Yes,
Nate,
I
he was
understand.
hitting half the defender.
Right.
Later in the season, he was digging guys out better, hitting them more square. You see that now in these training camp practices.
You saw that early yesterday. He dug a couple of guys out of the middle, and that's nice when you true linebackers you're digging out of there.
Oh, have to step up.
That was Earl Bostic on the left side that got pushed back into the
Yeah.
pocket there.
We got Mozzie Smith in there playing playing the one technique right now, actually sliding out to the three technique here.
He had a great day yesterday, Mozzie. Can he put two together, Brian?
Got to go. Get off, push up.
Oh!
There's your Kalen Carson.
Let's see if there's a flag. No way.
No flag on that.
Good job by Carson coming
I hate
over.
to go with the defense, but that was a great play.
Well, he turned around. He didn't make a ton of contact. He went for the ball. We talked about that eye for the football. Kalen Carson on Tyron Billy Johnson that time.
Tell you what, I don't know if we got these former Pac-12 officials working today, but they're letting them play. Maybe they're looking for gigs. You don't got any Pac-12 to play.
We are a Pac-12 country, RIP to one of those conferences.
Yeah.
Yeah, they use the Cowboys as a reference.
Here we go, the double A gap look again. Same way. Let's see if they run these
They got
guys out of
Bell
the middle.
outside. On the end is a blitz of safety.
All right, he's going to move protection here. Cooper Rush smart. He ain't going to let you hand. He's going to slide this line. Get ready. Oh, there they go.
Yep.
Throw it out of there.
Hey, Jalen Brooks tucked away.
He should have went up with his hands.
Nice job by Scott.
Eric Scott, 5th rounder last year.
That was the right amount of contact, the just right amount of touching to keep that ball from settling in with Brooks.
You know,
Brooks
Eric
should have went up with hands.
Yeah.
If he'd have went up with hands, he could have fought for interference.
You know, Scott was a kid, showed up during the OTAs and the minicamp when we were in there in Frisco. But he's kind of carried some things over. Like to see. He's a competitive son of a gun out of Southern Miss.
Figured you wanted to say something a little deeper, Brian. The son of a gun was great.
Yeah, I realized I was on TV.
Cooper Rush flushed out.
Oh,
Incomplete, intended for T. Billy Johnson on the far sideline.
yeah. Good job again, Carson being over there, man. This secondary, they've tightened it down now since the ball has moved into that red zone area.
Yes.
This defense has not allowed any
fourth
space.
and a long way to go, fellas.
Yeah.
And that goes back to our conversation earlier. You feel good about the depth at linebacker. You feel good about the depth in corner and safety. This is a strong point of this football team, and they're making things tough on the second-team offense.
Up front, the edge rushers are 51, Darrell Johnson, and 72, Shaka Tony, who's
Shaka Tony, Washington Commander guy.
Shaka Tony.
Here we come on the blitz. Oh, they pick it up.
And
wow, well done.
Jalen Cropper.
There you go.
One of the few times they were confused, fellas, on that back end.
Yeah, they
One
went really all out blitz on that one. And here comes Mike Zimmer. He's going to talk to everybody. Al Harris. They're all asking what just happened, gentlemen. But yeah, great job by Cooper Rush. He and Dak Prescott are having a word like, "Hey, let me steal that one from you next time." That was a good one.
That was a great play call.
Good blitz pickup by the young guys inside. Some young linemen, Cooper Beebe in there. Well, let's go. Those guys did a good job of picking it up and giving an opportunity for Cooper to get the ball
Earl
out.
Bostic was out there. Yes.
How many times have we seen in these drills, these long drives, the first team touchdown and the second team touchdown caught by the same guy? Jalen Cropper had both of them.
Yeah.
You know what's amazing?
That was
fellas?
fourth and long. That was not easy.
I think this is the fourth padded practice, and the offense is finally pulling even. Normally, these practices have been going to the secondary and to the linebackers.
Yep.
They've been dominating these
I used
practices.
to watch you guys practice against your defense back in the
Right.
Super Bowl day. You guys from the word go.
Yeah.
You guys never
Start fast.
You never gave anybody a chance.
The little general say, start fast.
Now we got Trey Lance at quarterback.
All right, now keep an eye on Trey Lance, because where Trey Lance tends to struggle, in my opinion, is the ball to the outside.
Yeah.
Anything underneath, he seems to do pretty well. Stuff outside the numbers, he might lose a little accuracy. Yesterday, he threw a nice pass to Tolbert down the sideline. So let's see if he could, if he's working the edges a little more, how accurate the ball is he's throwing here.
One guy I'm looking at here is 47, Brevin Spanford.
Yep.
Undrafted guy out of Minnesota at tight end.
Oh.
Good coverage right there.
Was it catchable, Kyle?
It was good coverage. It was a
Right.
good ball, but
Right.
it was good coverage.
Okay.
Hey, let's mention Josh DeBerry right there.
He's
That
had
was
a good
nice.
camp.
Yeah, nice job by him, though. Yeah, hey, you get in these practices, you got to make plays.
Yep.
You got to find ways. I mean, if you're not playing for a roster spot, you're playing for a right to be on the practice squad,
Yes,
maybe,
no
too.
doubt. Yes.
So, that pays well as too.
A big number 96, Justin Rogers out of
Boy,
Auburn,
he's been
seventh
good.
round pick.
Yeah,
in
Justin
there.
Rogers. Little push, work the hands.
It's a ball
I
outside the
think
numbers.
we got Dakota Shipley at your center now. I think
Yeah.
is my eyesight correct there?
Your eyesight is correct.
Yes.
And he got some kind words from Mike McCarthy the other day.
They've got
Dakota
three
Shipley.
centers that are all kind of competing for jobs here.
Yes.
Oh, Trey on the boot. Yeah.
Good throwaway.
If he puts a little touch on that, it might be a touchdown. He had a guy open on the backside of the defense. The number one thing with Trey Lance, though, he looks comfortable when he's pulling out of play action.
Right.
He doesn't look comfortable on the run. He just hasn't had that touch yet. He can throw it underneath, like you said, anything within the numbers and something
that's where
in front of him.
I kind of anything inside, I feel like that he's going to make a good throw.
Yeah.
It's on the edges that I get a little bit like, oh, I don't know about that one, sir.
Game on the inside, defense-wise. TE.
By the way, we should point out your first chance to watch Trey Lance and the Cowboys in a preseason game is a week from tomorrow. In fact, it'll be a 3:25 kickoff. It'd be like a regular season Sunday afternoon kickoff. 3:25.
Bunch of happy folks for that one.
Over in L.A. against the Rams.
There you go.
Yeah, last couple times we've been on the West Coast, it's been the late starts. It's been 7 Pacific.
Here we go. 4th and 1. Got a clock moving situation. Lance is going to bring him to the line. Let's see if he's going to throw this thing or just hand it off. Oh, he's going to sneak it.
Sneaking. All right, that was a gimme. Come on, Coach. Come on, Coach.
Hey, you have to practice everything,
I
right?
was not really sure about that, Nate. I thought a little tush-push maybe there. There we go.
Yeah, man.
The defense is saying, we can't hit the quarterback.
Our American rugby team girls, man, got that bronze
there you
about
go.
2 or 3 nights ago.
Congratulations to
with
them.
a little shove.
Little shove.
Yeah. I didn't know I would enjoy that sport as well as I did the other night.
Oh.
Ooh, somebody give a little shove.
Got a 1st and 10 with that quarterback sneak.
All right, I'm going to check this. Lance sees something. I like what he's – maybe a little combination route here on the outside. Looking at it. Oh. Somebody
ran the wrong route. Somebody didn't understand. Bad pass.
Yeah. Alec Haller right there, number 49.
Someone's going to holler at someone.
Yeah, Trey was trying to check it, and he was looking to the outside. I thought he was going to try and throw some combination to the side, but he went seam or out with Haller up the seam there, and it just didn't make the connection.
It's always tough to see who breaks down on a play like
Yeah,
that. You think that's a receiver running a different route?
You know what I've learned a long time ago? Jason Witten yelled at me so hard one day. He goes, "When did you ever think I ran the wrong route?" And I said, "Never again, sir, will I ever say that about you."
Just give them multiple options.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Throw it. Too late.
There was some pressure there.
Yeah, it was.
There was some inside pressure there, though. Lance was fortunate. Looks like the defenders pulled up on him a little bit there.
Boy, that's a tough throw, too, when you're rolling left and throwing back right. So he just took it down the sideline. Shows you a lot about a quarterback when they can make that throw.
Guys, if you're kind of keeping an eye, Q Muhammad, number 92, I don't know with the wide shot, maybe we can see, but he is a new addition to the roster.
One of the two they signed on Thursday, along with Shaka Toney.
He's got some get up the field. Look at that. He just up the field, retread, get back inside.
Great pass.
Oh, they're calling a catch.
Al-Quad
Cropper
Muhammad.
Keep your eye on the left defensive end, 51, Darrell Johnson, man. They like him a lot, too, especially Greg Ellis.
You mentioned some of the new additions with Shaka Toney and then Muhammad. The good thing about that, and Mike McCarthy mentioned this, they're not replacements for Sam Williams. They're replacement for the depth that now has to shift forward.
Right.
Marshawn Neeland is your Sam Williams now in that defense.
Yes.
These guys are the guys that fill in the holes behind it, but they're both pros. They're guys that have played in the NFL before, that have played professional football before.
Yeah, I've
You're
watched
not just
Tony.
grabbing rookies.
I've watched Tony before when he was with the Commanders.
Yeah.
Going against Jordan Mailata. You know, and working, he's
guys.
Lane Johnson. He's played against some good tackles. And there you go, outside a little high on the outside throw there.
Keep in mind, the edge rusher position, they lost Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler Jr. now with the Commanders, and now Sam Williams from what they had last year.
That's tough. Boy, that's tough. But, hey, like I say, with Neeland and what he's done, I'll tell you what, that's been super impressive how he's come in, and they played him on the right side. They played him on the left side. I thought maybe they were going to try and put him inside on some nickel stuff. They're like, no,
body.
He's just too valuable. They're trying to use him for that edge stuff. But he's picking it up pretty nicely for you.
Originally, that might have been the plan in some packages. And now he's the odds-on favorite right now to be your starter at right defensive end.
We're guarding the goal line here, so defense is – this is kind of a last-ditch situation. Okay, we're going to launch that thing.
No.
Yeah.
Lipke making a valiant effort. He has the football, and it's ruled a catch.
Yes.
That's an impressive grab from a fullback.
Hunter Lipke,
I don't know how he tracked the ball that deep down, and then it was a wobbly pass. That was not an
Showed some of the
easy grab.
athleticism. We'll be back to Oxnard in just a moment. It's time for a mojo moment here. I've always wanted to do that.
I always wanted to.
Blue-white practice. Bill Jones, Brian Broaddus, Nate Newton, and Kyle Yeomans. And you want to explain what the mojo moment is, Kyle?
Yeah, so a mojo moment, Mike McCarthy implemented this starting in 2020 when he first took over. This is a high-intensity, high-octane moment, and it's a moment of competition between each of the different offense and defensive units. They have to convert. It's usually a game situation, and it comes at a specific moment in practice that's hidden by the players. Of course, the coaches know when it's happening, but nobody on the roster knows when a mojo moment can pop up.
Thunder.
Happen quick.
Got to kick it. Time is ticking away here. No timeouts. Can't stop the clock.
It's high,
Butter
long, it's true.
Wow.
How about that?
Against the cursed goalpost.
Where was that from? It's hard to tell from this angle, but probably around, that's a 40-plus yard field goal.
Yeah.
In a quick situation like that. That's
this
good.
This mojo moment is called kicker kicks no matter what.
Love it.
So they're running a play, and then it's a rush onto the field.
Well, I like it. Thunder, thunder, thunder. They got everybody on, got everybody set. That's the whole key, making sure you get everybody to report that needs to report. You don't want to get in a situation where you don't report, and then all of a sudden it's a 5-yard penalty, and now you got to do that all over again. So great job of execution operation by the field goal team.
Yes. That was a 45-yard kick, by the way, and into what we've already dubbed here in Oxnard as the swirling wind, and Brandon Aubrey made it look easy.
This is Heinz Field of facilities. I mean, you don't want to kick to this end.
All right, see what the twos can do.
Oh, nice job, John
Stevens.
John Stevens, nice catch.
First down, they got to get on the.
They got to get it. Got to get the thing spiked. Everybody's got to get set. Here they go. Good job.
Fumble!
Ball goes over to the defense.
Did he fumble it out of his hand?
Was he able to clock it or not?
Oh,
that's the
no.
question. Let's go to review.
Notice
Cooper
this
Beebe
too.
was
It was
center.
Beebe.
Oh no! Please don't be his fault.
Wow, BB.
That ball went right through Cooper Rush's hands.
Oh.
Starting over. Mojo moment.
So we are 1 for 2 right now.
Yes.
2 field goals going to kick.
They're still going to bring him up.
Because you think about it, the offense has one job here, and that's to try and inch it on one play closer for Brandon Aubrey, and then you turn it over like that. That one doesn't feel good.
I would hate to have to do a post-game show if that's the way you lost the game. I remember Romo's dropped snap against Seattle in the playoff game, but, man, that was tough. Wind's kicking up a little bit here, too. This could be
short of the mark.
Short.
Yeah. That wind coming off the ocean.
Yeah.
I was talking because it looks like the trees above. It's going to come over the top. But I was talking with Henry Schroka, my old pro scouting buddy. He says, Brian, the wind off the ocean, and then it comes in and swirls. So I could tell by that breeze we got and then the ribbons, that was going to be, you're going to have to drive the ball to get it home today from this end.
The ribbons on top of the goalpost. And by the way, the Cowboys only have one place kicker in camp, Brandon Aubrey, the Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
How different is the kicking competition when there is no competition? I mean, I remember doing this the last 4 or 5 years. Every year it was a question going into who is your kicker, how are they going to distance themselves, and Aubrey's just completely
our
silenced
blue-white
that.
practice last year, I believe one of the kicks hit me in the head.
It hit Isaiah, too. You and Isaiah took one.
Trey Lance here now. Good inside. All right, here we go. We got a bunch of guys checking in. See, Golston, he's going to raise his hands. He's going to say, hey, 99 checking in.
Oh, a late.
Little problem
Brevin
there.
span forward.
Span forward. There we go. Everybody set. Oh, he drove that one.
Yeah.
You can see that leg strength there from Brandon Aubrey.
Yeah, he drove that one. He says, I am not leaving this one short.
You could hear it from here. It was just a different contact. It's like a home run swing.
Yep.
You can tell on the sound of the bat. You can tell just when Brandon Aubrey gets all of a kick as well.
Period 8, Bill. We got a little team.
Period 8, we got team. We're going up against pressure here.
This is when we're going to have safeties blitzing. We're going to have corners, linebackers. Hey, this is a drill where where Trey Lance can really get tested. He'll get a lot of different reads. And like you said earlier, Kyle, this is where Dak struggled sometimes. You're getting these different looks and making these different reads. This is where it's come up big in practice.
And it's all going to be sequenced, too. It's first, second, third, fourth down. So this is moving the ball again, like Mike McCarthy had talked about. You want to be able to move the chains as an offense against that pressure.
I'm kind of hopeful that we get all the other players who aren't in to move so we can see what's going on.
This is going to work great for us. And ask those players to move so we can see.
Yo, yeah. We got a look app in there. You see where they
Fortunately,
Scott
Purcell on our camera has a higher
Ezekiel Elliott.
Inside
handoff. He bounced that to the right.
Yeah,
Zeke is looking fresh and quick, fellas. I'm letting you know that now.
It looks like he's having fun.
Yes.
It looks like, there's not a lot of – he's just kind of having fun, not really –
Coming back to Mike McCarthy from the other guy who says, do your job.
Yeah, exactly.
You think it's because he has less pressure this year? Is that why he's having more fun?
I think he's happy just to be back.
Yeah.
The other thing about Zeke, Mike McCarthy talked about it today after his press conference. He thought that Zeke was one of the best short yardage backs in the league the year before, and of course it showed by his touchdowns that
12.
he had that last year. I mean, the year before.
He's got a knack, man.
Playing for the Patriots will kind of on that touchdown end of it will kind of get you a little off track.
You don't get in position to score touchdowns.
not. Mac Jones and others, Bailey Zappi and others had a little bit of problems there. I'll tell you what I've noticed more about, and you guys could correct me here. Dak is doing a really nice job of manipulating the pocket, and it's climbing forward. I learned one thing working with Bill Parcells here, and then Jerry Jones kind of took it on. The guards, center responsible for the front of the pocket.
Keep it deep.
The tackles, the width. And
yes.
These when you got Smith and Martin and Hoffman, and you give a little the ability to step up in the pocket. Dak's been taking advantage of that when on several throws, not just today, but in the practices we've had before. Got a blue shirt up the field on that outside handoff. Well, I can't. I'm sorry, I'm not doing you any favors here seeing it, but good penetration from that from the offense's left. That might have been a tackle for loss there.
Now Cooper Rush is out there with the twos. Let's talk about Cooper a little bit. And he's a quiet guy, and you don't think about him until he's needed.
Yeah,
and,
he's a break glass in case of emergency guy.
Yeah. And he knows that, too.
Yeah.
He knows what the role is. And I thought what he said yesterday, he talked to the media for the first time out here. What he said yesterday when asked about Trey Lance and all the pub and the excitement to see Trey Lance and what he brings, how does that affect your mindset? And he said it doesn't. It doesn't change what I have to do as a backup quarterback. It doesn't change the way that I prepare, the way that I practice. It doesn't change anything. I got to do my job. I mean, you talked about Bill Belichick a moment ago. Right. DYJ, that's what Cooper Rush is all about, and that's why he has stayed consistent as that backup.
Yeah, he's proven it. It gives you, as a veteran, myself, after a while you stop worrying about those guys. You start worrying about what you have to do and making sure you're having a good day after good day. And once you know who you are, the coaches know who you are, you just go out and perform.
You think about this quarterback room, too, and not just the players, but also the coaches, Scott Tolzien, as well as Brian Schottenheimer. And these guys have been around each other for a while now. And Dak talks about Cooper, how he has helped him because he's been along his side even going back before McCarthy became the head coach of this team.
And Cooper's been in a different camp. Remember, he spent some time with the New York Giants before really cementing as the QB2 here in Dallas. So he at least knows what it's like outside of this building, outside of Dallas, and where it is elsewhere in the NFL. So he's gotten a good look at it. It wasn't a ton of time, but it's still something that Dak hasn't experienced outside of this quarterback room.
I'll tell you what, right there, he got chased down on the backside. We might have saw it on camera. Tyrus Wheat. I've when watching these practice, Nate, Bill, I know we've all kind of at certain different times. Tyrus Wheat, number 91, has been one of those guys that, last year you kind of flashed a little bit. And then with the injury to Sam Williams, I was kind of waiting for him to show up because he does have that kind of ability to close from the backside. He can get it, free himself. I'll be interested to see him in some of these preseason games where he'll get opportunities very, very early probably to be able to play. But I want to see if he can put himself in a position to make this team as a defensive end, as an edge rusher, because he's the type of guy that has that kind of that I talked about the bend, the upfield rush, the close, the quickness. He just needs to show it on, and we say the word all the time in training camp, needs to do it more consistently.
He and Darrell Johnson in their second year now, and we'll see what kind of leap they make from the first year to the second year, even being practice squad guys last year.
I think the big question with a lot of those guys is how effective are they against the run? Because you've got to stop the run as an edge rusher, at least in this defense and with the reputation that they have. Teams are going to run the football against the Dallas Cowboys in 2024. But if they can slow it down off the edge, I think Wheat, that's been a strength of his throughout his early parts of his career and at least through college as well. If he can add a pass rush ability to the run-stopping ability, that's how he's going to sneak his way onto the backside of that 53-man.
It's called setting the edge and doing it with a deliberate determination, man. And that's Coach Zim is going to ask a lot of our defensive ends. Set the edge first. Place a great situation of football. When it's first and second down in less than 5 yards, he's going to ask them to set the edge first before they take off rushing.
And Nate mentioned it earlier when we saw the first-team offense out there that 76 Awesome Richards has been playing at left tackle.
Yes.
Haven't seen Tyler Guyton today. He was out yesterday with illness. I assume the same today. And Chuma Edoga as well. And so Awesome Richards, this is a great opportunity for him.
Yeah, Chuma Edoga has been dealing with I was down in the offensive line area and been watching him, his lower back on the right side. I thought it was a hip, but he has been wearing a pad or a patch on that area. So maybe it just, that's a problem. He's been trying to practice through some things, but maybe today it just got a little too much for him.
Yeah, I asked about Austin Richards and with a couple of the scouts, and they said last year the reason we didn't see a lot of him during the season because they wanted him to get stronger.
Yes, that's a big thing. Yeah,
he really improved with his strength because they believe that he can stay in front of people, and he's got nice feet.
Yeah, we're looking at him right now. He's working against Tyrus Wheaton.
Yes.
And excuse me, that was Nealon. Nealon that he was dealing with right there was able to. I think the thing I really liked about Awesome Richards is the fact when you evaluated him at North Carolina, he was playing against big-time competition.
Yes, he was.
Florida State, Clemson. Sometimes you watch some of these guys, draft a fifth-round guy, and you're trying to he's blocking against a pharmacist or he's blocking against a farmer or future lawyer. And I'm not no disrespect. Josh Allen when he was playing at Wyoming, he was throwing the ball to cattle ranchers.
Right. Sheep herders.
Damn good cattle ranchers. But right now, sometimes like you say, when you have an opportunity to evaluate a guy, he's blocking against Clemson, who's putting 6 guys defensive line into the league.
Especially D-line.
Notre Dame.
Yeah.
How many Notre Dame guys, Kyle, did we watch that were those edges?
There were 7 or 8 this year.
Yeah, exactly. So
I think
I appreciate that about the kid.
And you brought it up in the first segment, but Cooper Beebe too, and you've talked about him as a young guy.
Yeah.
I think having Awesome Richards to rely on will help him because they're kind of in a similar spot. Coming out of a big program where you've had some success, but it's a little bit of a change from what they did in college. By the way, on that last ones run, Cooper Beebe was at right guard with the ones, with Dak Prescott. So while he has struggled in terms of snapping, his blocking has earned him some first-team reps when Zach Martin's not in the fold.
I thought when they drafted him that he might wind up being Zach Martin's heir apparent, whatever Zach Martin decides to.
They like T.J. Bass a lot.
TJ's very good.
People will tell you they might, if you grab Will McClay right now, I know he's over here walking around, you'd say, hey, Will, what do you think of T.J. Bass? They'd probably tell you he's playing it better at right guard than he would play at left guard. But, by the way, just going back into a couple plays, just saw Trey Lance outside the numbers, accurate pass, Cropper caught it, got up the field. That's the kind of things you're looking for from Trey Lance.
And one other thing on Cooper Beebe, Mike McCarthy said in the whole pre-draft process, he looked at him as a center. That's what he looked him at.
But, man, the learning curve.
It's huge.
The learning curve. I was sitting there thinking, plug and play. Man, he hadn't played center in a long time.
High school.
Yeah, and so now you're sitting there thinking, okay, well, because he's played so many multiple positions, another good outside throw from Trey Lance and an accurate throw there. So that's what maybe the learning curve for him is a little bit steeper than what I thought going into training camp.
Nate, did you ever try and play center?
No,
in
sir.
The pros?
I knew my limitations. I knew them, and I stuck with them. I played right tackle for a year and was threatened to be cut if I didn't play it.
Yeah.
And then as soon as Eric Williams, when they gave him my job, I moved back to
That's
left
a great
guard.
story, by the way.
Yeah, they gave him my job.
Tony Wise was told, you play Eric Williams, and he just ruined Reggie White's life for the rest of his life.
This is what got me, Kyle and Bill. I'm sitting in the meeting in Austin. We sitting in the meeting, and I look cathedral room because it was at a Catholic school, and me and Big E sat right next to each other. Jimmy walks in, looks at me, looks at Big E, looks at Tony Wise, and say, E is the right tackle. And he looked at me and said, y'all have a great day. I looked at Big E, I'm like, he just gave you my job. he didn't beat me out. He beat me out, but hey.
Where did you go? You moved.
I went and sold Kevin Gogan out quickly with Jimmy.
So why did he do that? Why did he do that? Was he sending a message to Nate Newton?
No, what he wanted E as the right tackle because
he's good.
Was better built. He was a better athlete than me.
Yeah,
and he's a master psychologist. He's got to think that's going to give E confidence. And it's going to light a fire under Nate.
He knew I was coming.
It's a double-edged sword.
He was waiting in his office. He knew I was coming because the year before he threatened me to make me play right tackle. And so, because he told me I was one of the top 5. So I went to his office and said, Coach, that's not fair. You know, you gave my job away, but I'm the better left guard than Kevin. I sold Kevin out. And he said, you're right. He went to Tony behind closed doors and said, Nate, your left guard.
Oh, there you
I'll
go.
tell you
Kevin
what,
was the odd man out.
The minute that Jimmy put Eric Williams at right tackle,
Our whole team
he
changed.
knew that Reggie White was in. And Reggie White he hated playing Eric Williams. Reggie White, Hall of Famer, God bless him, wore a Super Bowl ring because of him. But, man, every time we played Dallas, Reggie White would dread it because Eric would hit him in the throat, punch him in the ribs,
Gouge at his eyes.
at him. Yeah, he was.
Nate never did anything like that.
No,
right?
but
That whole offensive line,
Yeah.
man. That whole offensive line was
nasty.
mean. They were mean guys.
And Eric Williams started that meanness. He started that
Yeah.
physicalness. Yes, he did.
All right, 4th down play here. I love the fact that Bones Fossil keeps you informed on what's
Yes.
going on in practice.
It's great for the fans.
It is.
Loud
to keep them
and
involved.
clear.
Yeah, loud and
Yeah,
clear.
when fans start talking about the 90s eras of Cowboys, it gets us back on track.
Yes.
You know, it's amazing, y'all, how Bucky Brooks just threw us to the
Yeah.
side for the NFL Network.
Yeah.
Just walking behind us.
Yeah.
Dak, 4th down play, 4th down throw, has to move in the pocket. Going to have
You
to
gotta
run.
for it.
Yeah, hey, that's good coverage on the backside for him to have to run.
Dak says he's in the best shape of his life. All right, we're going to be back with more from here at Cowboys Camp in Oxnard in just a moment. Practice continues our last segment here, and before we sign off the air, I want to give a shout out to Scott Purcell, Chris Beam, the producer supreme, Caden Gates, and the entire
Great job.
Dallas Cowboys TV crew for fighting through the gremlins we had to fight through today. It's an amazing piece of work just to get us on the air.
I heard one of the Gophers chewed through a wire, and that's why we were off the air, and they had to redo the whole thing.
There is a gopher hole right next to where the camera is, where Scott Purcell is manning the camera here, and he peeks his head out every now and then.
Oh, hard play action right there, Phil.
We got red zone going on
Yeah,
here.
we do.
Oh, we got a little shove going on there with Martin and Mozzie, boy. Okay. The
You think that's a
Butcher's
team
not-
leader trying
Yeah.
to light a fire under
Yeah,
Mozzie
the
Smith?
Butcher's not playing games, baby.
I love it. This is red zone lockout, by the way. This is a continuous game. You're trying to get to 20 points, and you try and get to that actual spot to try and win this drill back and forth between offense and defense.
Oh, Parsons inside quick on steal.
How about Micah?
Yeah.
Micah went 29 minutes in his media session the other day.
I'll tell you what, he told you some life stories, didn't he, Bill?
Yeah.
But really nice pass rush. Steele is so conscious of the edge, Nate.
Yes,
the
yes.
edge. Then all of a sudden he rushes hard to the outside shoulder and then comes underneath. Boy, that is tough for a tackle to have to cut that 250-pound
You have
man
to bring
coming
a
in.
hard shove to
step.
the inside. Yes, sir. A hard step.
By the way, they have some scoring in this drill. Offensive touchdown, 7 points. Offensive field goal is 3 points for the offense. Defensively, a stop, a missed field goal, a turnover is 7. And if they hold the offense to a field goal, that's 4 points. So that's how this is going to be scored from a drive standpoint.
It's 3rd and 5.
Let's see what kind of changes
Yes,
they made.
it's 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5, they didn't bring anybody, so they must have the personnel that they want on the field right now. Nobody came from the sidelines. Zimmer is he's keeping
Nealon
his
is
same
in there.
person. Yeah.
Osa is in there. Chauncey is in there.
Nealand on that right
Yeah.
side,
Watch.
too.
Let's
Yes.
see what happens again with Micah Parsons. Kneeling at the right edge. Here, I bet you Parsons is going to come screaming off that left side.
Think a spin move this time?
Oh, he just bull rushed
Yeah,
him.
bull rushed. Oh,
Right at the 2-yard line.
Right at the first
Oh,
down
man,
marker.
I
He's
don't know,
just
man.
short.
God, it looks short.
how would you play it, Kyle?
They're calling it 1st and goal.
Well, they gave him the first down.
Okay.
I would have gone for it. I mean, you could kick a field goal there, I guess, and the defense gets 4 points. But in this drill, you better go for it on 4th down.
All right, let's see what happens on the inside here, with got Golston and then
and
Osa.
Osa. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
Yeah. Hard play action again. Here's the crosser.
Oh,
they picked
too
it up.
much
Jordan
time.
Lewis.
Too much
Jordan
time.
Lewis. Everybody's trying to get
Too much
free.
time.
Wow.
That's too much, babe.
Great job. Great job right there. Great job.
All right, so second down at the 3-yard line.
They tried to run. Did you see him try and
Right.
run Ferguson? They tried to sneak him
Right.
across the formation, and no, Jordan Lewis says, not going to let that happen today. So great job of Jordan picking up the crosser of Ferguson.
Good pickup from the secondary. It was a really good pocket, too, for Dak. He had plenty of time to at least survey and still couldn't get it off.
Johnson here at linebacker, number 57, getting an opportunity. Oh, going
Buddy
to run
Johnson.
to the flat. Oh.
Got a tight end and a running back in that vicinity over there.
Linda
One of the
Wells
end
was
zone.
sitting right there, and he wanted Ferguson to get after that football.
Yeah.
Looked like a miscommunication on a route between
Wanye
the
Thomas being really Wanye Thomas, we've seen him sometimes have some really competitive stuff down here in this tight red zone.
All right, we've got less than a minute for our audience on TXA 21. We were going to continue to stream till the end of practice on DallasCowboys.com. We got a third down situation here at the 3-yard line.
Oh, Dak, he's working something. These receivers are talking to each other. Watch some kind of pick coming off this, maybe. Okay, they're going to.
Johnson is the Mike. Johnson is your
they're
Mike.
going to slide it. Get ready. Here we go.
Johnson and Mike. They brought a blitz.
Oh, deflected. Micah Parsons.
Yeah, Micah.
Guess who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Nealon was there as well. Good rush by Nealon.
So fourth down for the offense. We're going to say so long to the people watching on
They
TXA
brought
21.
one more
We
than they could
appreciate
block.
it. And we'll continue on DallasCowboys.com streaming.
Oh,
Brandon Cooks.
touchdown.
They gave it to him.
Looked
The
like he got
Archer.
both
How about that?
feet down.
Did he get
He
both
got
down?
both feet down. He dragged that left foot on the way
Toe
through.
drag swag?
A toe drag swag from the Archer himself.
Wow.
They gave it to him. That's 7 points for the offense. And
I'll
there's
tell
some
you what.
talking back and forth here.
Yeah, that was nice. Really nice. Good job by Thomas, though, on the coverage, though, as well, man. That was a good throw by Dak, man. He put that ball right where Cooks needed to be. Clutch play there on that fourth down.
How many times have we said that through Oxnard so far? I mean, what a throw from Dak. Wow, he put that one on the money. That was a catchable ball. That continues to be the case.
Now
Now
got
we're
the
looking
twos.
at Cooper.
Harvey in there with the twos, by the way,
Yes.
at the linebacker spot, number 55.
Leofow 35. Rogers the nose. Oh, Leofow out there quick.
He
I'll tell
could
you
bring
what,
a blitz aspect for Zimmer, right?
I'll tell you what, Leofow has shown me. You talk about the rookie out of Notre Dame. He's smart. He's tough. He might not be the best athlete of the group.
Right.
I think Clark and others are a little bit better. But you talk about playing with instinct and awareness and knowing where to go. And he could hustle to get to the outside to cut off some of those pass routes.
Do you think Mike Zimmer saw some Eric Kendricks in
Yeah.
VFL?
He's a little bit smaller than Kendricks, but it's all about that
As far as the
IQ, that
instincts.
football
Yeah.
instinct, and he has that. I think he could certainly be a playmaker for this defense.
You got Rogers and Fajoko. So that means Rogers is playing the one or the nose tackle on the inside shoulder, outside shoulder of the center. And then with Fajoko, he's playing that 3 or the under tackle on the outside shoulder. So there's your 1 and 3 combination inside right now.
They're going to put Wheat out to this wide
And
technique
we
out
got
here.
Johnson on the other side.
Good snap right there.
Little shovel pass to Malik Davis.
Yeah, right there. That was good snap right there from BB, and he's gonna hustle to the second level. But the guy we mentioned, Leofow, read it quick and was able to get to the outside. BB was just a tick late getting to that edge.
We are getting backed up.
It's quite all right.
Wonder if that's an indication of what's to come here. Could be pushing us into the play here very soon.
Okay, you got second down.
Oh, good job by the defense right there. There you go. There's some stepping up going on right there. You mentioned Johnson, and then also, though, as well, is that
Brock Mogensen.
Mogensen? Yeah.
Number 59.
That's a
Glad
South
you're here,
Dakota
Bill.
undrafted rookie making some plays.
Mogensen. I like that. I had to go to Bill Jones on that one. I knew Bill had the pronunciation. Didn't want to mess up the young man's name, but nice job stepping it up there.
Out of South Dakota, rookie undrafted guy.
Okay. Harvey and Leofow back in at the linebackers once again. Oh, right down the chute.
Oh! He got bailed on the inside move.
That's a great job
Yeah.
by Hendershot to adjust to that
Yes,
football.
he did.
Rush thought he would take it a little bit further into the end zone and put it in that middle side, and Hendershot was behind, or the throw was behind Hendershot, but he made the adjustment and he built that separation enough to do so.
Pretty sure if Hendershot does not catch that ball, it hits me in the stomach.
Yeah, you would have caught it. You would have made it play.
With his stomach.
I think Bill was ready to make a play.
I think
if he
so
had
too.
to.
Give yourself a little bit of credit here.
We got the ones back in the it looks like one offensive line's back in the mix.
Yes.
Okay, Dak, I thought maybe we were going to go with Trey Lance here, but maybe not.
Looks like Mozzie's going to get some run with the ones. Nashawn Wright, Donovan Wilson, Kalen Carson out here, number 41.
This
He's
has
gonna
been
get
some
some
really.
reps.
This has been a very competitive practice. I really like what I've seen. I think as a former personnel guy, you could get something out of watching this thing today. I hope the folks at home got some out of it too. Oh, push.
Nice block by Austin Richards on Parsons. Nice block. Ran him around the horn.
Richards, we haven't talked about a whole lot. It's been
Yeah.
all about Guyton, Udoga,
Yeah.
Beebe, and Hoffman. Give Richards some credit. We talked about him today, of course, because he's getting these reps, but all throughout practice, he's quietly been doing his job and quietly been elevated.
I'll tell you, the guy on the offensive line I wouldn't want to mess with is that Tyler Smith.
No doubt.
I don't
Glad
want to
you
go
said
up against him. I am not going up against Tyler Smith. He makes you look bad.
I believe
You know?
it would be the top of the screen here. Jalen Tolbert, number 1, against Kalen Carson, the rookie, 41.
Oh, Zeke trying to bounce it.
Takes a tumble.
I want to see that battle because Tolbert's had a great camp. Carson's had a great camp. If they continue to match up one-on-one with each other, you might see Dak try and test that side.
Hell, you know what? The ball goes to the outside with Zeke that we've talked about at the tight end room. They've got to be better blockers at the point of attack. They've got to figure out ways to win on the edge and not get compressed or get pushed back up the field.
And no Luke Schoonmaker today, so we
Yep.
haven't seen him at tight end.
Dak telling him easy. They're going to change this thing up a little bit.
There's Cavante Turpin.
How about that? Shortest guy in the
Love
wide
it.
receiver room going to run a slant. Hey, take this route inside, young man. See what happens.
He's so quick off the line of
He
scrimmage,
is.
it's almost an automatic 4 yards.
I tell you what, he scored a lot of touchdowns unless you're playing red zone football for
Yeah.
somebody that short. That's pretty impressive.
He's got those instincts.
There's a thud up from
That was-
Dowdle and Damone Clark.
Yeah. Go Tigers.
Oh, here we go. We got a
Here
little
we
pushing
go.
and shoving here. It's Ferguson tangled up. I couldn't see the number. It looks like Mozzie maybe.
Mozzie's been in fights a couple of times today.
I think it's
Mozzie been on the
Mozzie.
edge all day. If it's not Mozzie.
Oh, no,
Oh,
it was
it's-
72.
It's Tony.
Shaka.
Tony.
Shaka Tony.
Trying
Yeah.
to make y'all feel I'm here. I've arrived. Yes.
Yeah, he and Ferguson got into it. Now Mozzie checks in for Tony.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest scuffle we saw was when you had Brevin Spann-Ford and Kalen Carson, 2 rookies,
I'll
get
tell you
after.
what,
That was
man,
a good one.
Spanford went after Carson, and Carson turned and wheeled on
Yes,
him.
he
Like,
did.
Whoa. Got my attention.
It was all after the whistle, and
I thought those
Brevin
guys
Spann-Ford would
yeah.
keep going.
I thought those guys from Wake Forest were smart.
This one's feisty.
Instant pressure on that pass.
Yeah, good job by Leofow. We
That's
talked
impressive.
about him with the burst. Parsons was there as well. They didn't get fooled. That Leofow, I'm telling you, he reads so fast. Good job.
Dak saw Parsons off the edge and was able to get around just
Yeah.
in time. But then as soon as he turned to throw the football, Leofow was on
Yeah,
top
he
of
was
him.
there. I'm liking these edges right now with Parsons and then also with Nealon. Yeah,
Nealon, yes.
yeah.
You got Chauncey.
No
and,
tank.
You got Chauncey and Mark.
Oh, he's looking for the crosser.
And there's
Oh!
knocked away by
Carson.
Kalen Carson.
What
Yeah.
a play from Kalen
Yeah.
Carson.
Al Harris shoots that fist in the air and says, yeah, way to go, Rook. Gives him a little low 5 there, and here comes Diggs to say, yeah, nice job, Rook.
Not a ton of separation.
No.
He stayed in his hip pocket all the way through, and he waited for the perfect opportunity to knock that football free. It was a good pass. Tolbert was there. He attacked the football, but Carson got there right after.
And by the way, how about Al Harris?
Awesome.
Looks like he could still play.
He probably could.
Yeah.
That was big,
I would love
being
to
able
see
to
him in
keep
a red.
him.
Yeah, really big. Okay, blitz,
Oh,
clean. Oh, clean,
sack,
clean,
sack
clean,
twice.
clean.
Sack
Clean.
twice.
Mike Zimmer. Everybody's clapping on the defensive side of him. They got Leofau home clean. Got
So
him
that's
home
forcing
clean.
a field goal attempt here. Was that a delayed blitz from Leofau off, or was it straight A gap?
It looked like
Straight.
to me they kicked it. They kicked it wide, and Smith went with Richardson went to the outside, and that just the center not getting over. Man, and maybe they were bad on the call there, Nate, but man, clean run for Leofau.
Mean run.
It's like about a 28-yard
He's
field goal by
driving hard
Brandon
now,
Aubrey.
boy. He's taking no chances.
Yeah,
So 3 for the offense there,
Kick
4
that
for
one
the
back to
defense.
Okay, 4-3, the defense leads.
that was a
Well, that-
good
on that-
series.
on that drive.
on that
Yeah.
possession.
I want to say
Are you
it's
keeping a running tally?
I
want to
say it's defense. I'm trying to do
We're letting
fast
a
math in
Baylor
my head.
guy do this?
Yeah, North Texas
Better
grad.
than an LSU guy.
Yeah, North Texas grad. 11-10, I believe it's in favor of the
Oh, that's right.
defense
North
currently.
Texas Baylor. It's Beamer.
Hey, I grew up in Waco, so
Yeah, that's
Bears,
right.
That's
I was
okay.
thinking, I'm sorry. I was thinking
That's
Beamer
okay.
was the Baylor guy. You're the North Texas guy.
So
That's
we're
right.
giving the offense with the lead.
I think
11
offense is trailing by 1. I think it's 11-10
11-10
defense.
defense.
So let's see
leads.
what Trey Lance does here in this red zone, brothers.
Yeah, this is key for me because he's found a way to get his team in position, but has he been able to finish? There's been 3 times down here where they've come away with no points.
Good pocket.
Oh, he ripped it.
Oh,
He had plenty of time there. He could have delivered that ball a little bit better, and he overshot it.
And they're getting a lot of good work at this practice today, man. Oh, wow.
so these are the type of films a scout would like to
Oh,
look at.
man, I
As
tell
a
you
player,
what.
we would hate it. We just it's time
too
to get
long,
off. Yeah, it's
too
time
long.
to get off. Tomorrow's an off
Yeah,
day,
man.
man. Hurry up,
Hey,
coach.
I'd go through this film twice.
This is the 4th practice in pads. They have worked 5 straight days.
I think
They get
one
a
of the
day off
best
tomorrow.
ones they've had, to be honest with you.
Yes, it has. Yes, as an overall team.
A little inside run, maybe. Oh, we're going to keep it. All right, don't hit him. All right, that's cool.
That's that RPO that Trey Lance has been really comfortable in running. He's done it a couple times where he goes the opposite way, where the line's
Flow.
blocking, and that flow allows open space for him, and then he's got the athleticism to take off.
Yeah, good job of him. Got Scott at one of the corners, and then also, too, on the outside there is DeBerry earning a little bit more playing time, and then with Hall as the nickel slot. Oh, that's a sack. Zimmer got him home.
That was Mogensen again.
Yeah,
Julius Woods, the safety, came there too.
Wow.
I
That
told
was
you
just a bust.
anytime Zimmer can bring that pressure, he can mix and match these post-snap looks. It's going to be good for these quarterbacks because the recognition has to be quicker. It has to be better. And in order to have some success, you got to get the ball out quickly.
Well, here's the field goal. So let's see. It looks like to me we still have a little
20.
breeze looking at the top of these trees.
Maybe a 43-yarder.
Yeah,
or so.
we're going to have to drive this thing.
35, Bill.
35.
35 yards from the left hash.
Okay.
Going to have to drive this thing home. Good snap. Good hold.
Got it.
Yes, sir.
And it is good.
You can see the wind forcing against it, though.
Yeah.
Scorekeeper, what does that mean?
That means the defense wins. The defense would be
Okay.
It'd be 15-13 in favor
Okay.
of the defense, and the 20 minutes is up. So defense wins it by 2.
That was a good period for both teams. This is going to be something I'm looking forward to as the former scout guy.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back on
I'll look for something else, yeah.
DallasCowboys.com in just a moment.
At a time, and I get the business. If we win enough
Don't wanna
games,
back up
it'll be
again.
great. If we don't, you deal with that as well. But a ton of confidence in myself, the staff that we have. But the number one thing we can do is just put all of our energy and time where our feet are, which is developing these players, helping them play to the best of their ability, and the season will take care of itself. And that's really how I look at it.
Nick Harris, DallasCowboys.com. How impressive have you been for Brock Hoffman since he's gotten here at camp and the offseason work that's translated to the field?
Yeah, love Brock. Again, another one of those guys like Fergie that's a tone setter. The command of the offense and the discipline of the communication process, which, as you guys know, like when you got 5 or sometimes with the tight end, 6 people having to work together, like if you're not loud and demonstrative and you're not making the cleanest declarations, it really does mess us up. But this guy is just he's mastered what we're trying to do from a declaration standpoint. His strength at the point of attack has been awesome. But again, I think him being in that role right now, he's playing with a different confidence maybe than he had last year, again, competing with Badass. But he's very, very confident and doing an awesome job right now with everything we ask him to do. Again, there's also a cover and finish aspect that we always preach. When the play's over, right, you want the entire offense covering down to the ball. And he's always going to be one of the first ones down there that's trying to take somebody off the pile, and he just plays with a cool edge.
Communication standpoint, how can Dak kind of help bring along whoever kind of evolves from that center competition?
Yeah, again, the quarterbacks in our system always have the eraser, if you will. The centers come up, they make their call, they make their point. The QBs have the ability to adjust it or change it if they need to. But really with Brock and all the centers, Cooper Beebe, TJ Bass, all those guys who've been rolling through there, it doesn't happen very often. Sometimes the quarterbacks have a little different vantage point. They can see maybe a rotation of a safety where they see a guy's not coming off the slot. But it really doesn't happen, Nick, that often. It's the centers are doing a great job. And, again, we go fast. I mean, our pace of operation is something we believe in. We want the defense to feel us each and every time, as whether we're breaking the huddle or on the ball. And so the centers have a lot to process, and they have to be decisive. And so, again, if you're up there second guessing, oh, shoot, do I go right? Do I go left? Then that slows down the whole operation. And, again, Brock's learned that, hey, let me make a decision. Let me set it. And if Dak doesn't like it, then he'll make an adjustment.
Here we go. Young guy.
Oh, good cut. That's Nathaniel
That's Pete. Yeah, Pete. We talked about
What
him.
is his first name?
Nathaniel.
Whoa, welcome to the clan, baby.
You moved just as quick back in your day.
Get
huh?
up.
Just as quick, you're right.
With those new knees, you might be able to.
Titanium, baby.
All right.
This period is
Slow
to this
getting up.
practice, Bill, or brought us what the day 3 is to the NFL draft. This is the day of the scouts.
This is
the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, and it means a lot because, maybe you find your way now into the 2s, or maybe get you more playing time next week against the Rams because you're showing you can do the job and know what you're doing.
You could do it with different positions, too.
Yeah.
You got Ball, who's playing mostly right guard throughout. He's now at right tackle. You can mix and match.
I love
some
it. They're
things.
trying to run the ball here the first couple of plays. I like what that, it's making the young linemen have to come off.
Is BB at the center?
He is.
We're giving him every opportunity.
Yeah.
Get him as many reps as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, Austin Richards tried to run out there and get some reps.
Yeah.
Austin want to make this team in a big way, baby.
He's only a second-year guy.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Nathan Thomas at the left tackle. He needs a lot of work. I like it.
Brevin Spanford out there, too.
Yeah, sure is. There we go.
Yeah. Collapse on that left side.
Yeah, that was Wheat. Wheat was rushing off the defense's right side there, and was able to get a little bit of some pressure.
Good pursuit
on
from
Earl
him, too.
Bostic.
Earl Bostic.
Yeah, Earl Bostic. Yeah.
Nathan Thomas, they're over there trying to battle and show what they can do. And brought us as a scout. I noticed y'all say build one rep, another rep.
Yeah.
Good rep. Then all of a sudden you build to have one good day, another consistent day.
Right.
And that's what you look at in the development of a player. Can you grasp the offense and continue to get better with your techniques every day in and day out?
Yeah, this, as you know, Nate, this practice, it's hard.
Yes.
It's hard, and you get tired, you get sore. Yeah, good job right there.
And if you're in Kyle's situation and the wife keeps sending videos of the 3 babies, come home, Daddy.
Hey,
That was
you
Josh
got to
Butler
keep
right
your
there.
focus.
But to your point, man, you get tired, you get
Yeah.
sore, you lose focus. I always thought players cut themselves.
That's right.
If you're not practicing, it's not that we don't the front office let you go. You cut yourself because
Yeah.
you're showing you can't concentrate, you can't do the job.
Bad assignments,
Bad assignment,
bad
yeah,
technique.
exactly.
I mean, just
Exactly.
like you say, more time in the whirlpool gets you more time on the street.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
a lot of what you're talking about with this young guy period
it's fun for all the scouts, and you have an opportunity to get extra reps and extra snaps. It also, for some guys, is a wake-up call. If you're all the way into this group and you're either 2 or 3 years into the league or you've been around this program for quite some time and you're still running with these young players, then ultimately it is a wake-up call to say, hey, I've got to kick it into high gear down the stretch of this training camp.
Number 75 is one of those guys.
Yeah. Talk about that. That's Josh Ball.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. He's
got to be. Yeah. He's a former draft pick. He's been around for 3 or 4 years now. Hasn't really made those reps, made those jumps, and now he's in this group still.
He's playing right tackle. Dakota Shepley's at right guard. Cooper Beebe at center, and then you got
Thomas is the left
guard.
Left guard.
Bostic at left tackle.
This might be the group you see in the fourth quarter against the Rams next week.
Right.
You know?
Season games. Yep. So.
Oh, again, hard play action away.
This is their dress rehearsal for
next
Sunday.
Yeah, this is like
from tomorrow.
This is what plays look good on tape.
Yeah,
that we can use next week. Yeah.
And by the way, how about the big week ahead here? Because you play the Rams on Sunday, but the bigger day is Thursday when the Rams come here, right?
And you get to see a lot of the starters again for both teams. Dak Prescott, everybody will get to see him throw it around against the Rams defense. Matthew Stafford will come in. He'll get a chance to throw it to Puka Nacua and a couple of those guys, Cooper Kupp. That's going to be a fun practice.
Yeah, Bill, this is I'm really kind of dreading that. I'll tell you why. I looked at 200 players in the draft 2 years ago, and it was like I didn't look at Puka Nacua.
Oh,
like,
no.
How did I miss that kid from BYU? Who's like, I'm like thinking, how do you look at all these players and not look at him?
By the way, speaking of the Rams, I think when you see what the Rams did last year, of course, with what they had to pay Aaron Donald, the money to Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp money.
Yeah. Right.
Think about their roster a year ago.
Yeah.
When I looked at their roster, and we all follow the draft closely.
Right. Yeah.
I'm looking at guys that I don't even remember these guys, and they made the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, what a job they did last year, but it's a great illustration of what can happen when you have to pay the quarterback X amount of money, the wide receiver, and your top defensive player.
It's so funny because my buddy Les Snead, who's the general manager, he's F them picks guy.
Yep.
So he's going out and finding players, but he got some picks this year, so he's made some good ones. But you're absolutely right, Bill. Sometimes you got all these high. Your roster might be really top heavy, but you got to find those guys in the middle of the draft that can help you win games.
But doesn't that say a lot about your scouting department being able to mesh with your coaching staff?
No doubt.
And go out and get the players they want. The head coach said it during the middle of the year. Do not count my team out.
Yep.
Right.
And that just goes to the GM, to the player personnel guy, the college guy, just mashing well with the head coach and then the position coaches, knowing what they want, man. And that's what we're trying to develop here with the Cowboys.
And think what the Rams have. Sean McVay's been their head coach for years, and now Mike McCarthy going into his 5th year here. And so the scouting staff, which has done a great job for the Cowboys for decades, and now they're on the same page with the coaching staff too, exactly what they need, and it's imperative that they hit on these guys now.
Yes,
and it challenges whenever you play in those joint practices, not only the players, but it challenges the coaches because just like you're seeing competition from the offensive and defensive coaching staffs in an intra-squad practice like this, when another coaching staff comes to town, they're testing their wits against your coaching staff.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better. I think the last time the Rams came here, we had a fight.
Yep.
Yeah, Aaron Donald
was
and
that
Cooper,
a Jeff Fisher?
Jeff Fisher. It was
that was Jeff Fisher. And I remember Jason Garrett, putting the offense over on field one with no defense. The Rams completely walked off the field. Garrett just kept running plays with no against air. And so, that Jeff Fisher, it was crazy. The fans were over here fighting. So.
Well, in 2021, when we were back here in Oxnard, the Rams came in with Sean McVay, and there was a time where Aaron Donald and Connor Williams went after it. And then there was another one where Tony Pollard got hit out of bounds on this right sideline, and Sean McVay had to pull guys from the Rams off of some of the Cowboys guys who retaliated. So there are going to be some fireworks. If you want to watch that practice, by the way, we should just flood the Twitter streams to try and talk somebody into broadcasting it. I think it'd be fun. Just flood it with Twitter mentions right now. Let's make it happen.
We've done a good practice today, so we kind of understand what we have to do, right?
Yeah. Brothers, you're supposed to stay focused on the practice. You're cutting guys because they're not focused, okay?
I know. I tell you what, man, I just saw there, like I say, Trey Lance was scrambling with the ball. Our we're a bunch of tired guys right now, and technique's kind of falling apart in that offensive line. Have you noticed that, Nate?
Yes, I've noticed that. Yeah. Wow.
Young guys, if you can fight through this practice, and again, I love watching these young guys work because, again, they get extensive. It's rep after rep after rep. So
yes,
excited about that.
And you don't see this every day.
No, you don't. You sure don't. You sure don't. I was kind of hoping they would come our direction with it, but
But you know, the reason sometimes this happen like this because offensive, defensive line coaches are will continually be into your head coaches. We don't have enough time. We don't have enough time.
Right.
We need to look at these players. And so sometimes a head coach will bow down and give them this type of practice because it's never enough time and enough reps for the number of players that you have.
That's a great point because even some of these new additions like Muhammad and Tony, Muhammad was in there for a sack on that last play.
Yeah.
He was there at the hip pocket of Trey Lance when he was looking to the left to throw the football. So they're getting a look at not only rookies and younger guys and guys trying to prove themselves, but they're looking at those two signings too and rotating them in and out and see what they have.
I noticed Coach McCarthy like to say in his press conference, he hit his workload. Today a bunch of guys are going to hit their workload.
Well, not only was it one of the more intense practices that we've seen, but it's been the longest practice too. I mean, we're over 2 hours into this thing.
Oh, he may get
almost
reported.
2.5 hours.
He may get reported.
yeah.
There's a lot of stretching in between.
That's it.
See, no reporting.
You know what? They will announce it in just a moment. They're going to say coaches off the field.
Get out quick.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, because they are sticklers on.
Oh, yeah.
You can't pass that 11-hour workday.
Put a good show on today for the crowd.
Yeah.
Put a good show on for everybody. Yeah.
That was good. Loved it.
You guys did a great job. You guys. Yeah, you guys
You too,
did
Nate.
a great job,
The Hall of
man.
Famer.
This is my first time ever working this way, shotgun like where you just jump in. I'm waiting on my chance to talk and get past.
What are you talking about? You do this every year.
Nah, not this. I just have a segment.
Oh, you had the whole
first time I
thing.
ever rode with y'all, man. I appreciate y'all taking care of me.
Okay, check out DallasCowboys.com throughout the week. Check out Kyle Yeomans and Brian Broaddus on X, right?
Right.
You're Xing a lot, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And a week from tomorrow, it's a 3:25 kickoff at SoFi Stadium, the Cowboys and the Rams. But before that, the Rams will be here this week on Thursday. Thanks for joining us for the Blue-White Practice from Oxnard.